Sunday, and I thought, what's better than to be coming live and chatting with you all. Uh, so it also happens to be my anniversary day today, and so we've decided to open this bottle of champagne. And today's podcast or today's live session shall be about this champagne, which you can see, in front of the camera. So let's wait for a few people to join in, and then we'll start this session. So this champagne, as you can see, although the image must be laterally inverted, so let me read it out to you. Champagne name is Champagne Jean Dumangin. So what we'll do is that we'll uh, break down all the things, all the text which is written on the label, and which will give us a lot of information about this champagne. So starting from the name of the champagne, Champagne Dean Jumajin, it is written on the label, and this indicates not only the name of the champagne, but it also indicates that the champagne comes from a Dumangin family, from the Dumangin family. And now the Majan family has been growing grapes since 16th century in France, and this house was established in late 19th century, late 18th century, to be perfect. And the next, we come to the year 2017, which is written on the champagne label. This indicates the year in which the harvest of grapes which went into making this champagne happened. Normally, the year of harvest is normally not mentioned, especially in the non-vintage champagne. So this indicates that this is a vintage champagne, and vintage champagne is something which is produced from grapes. Vintage champagne, it indicates the year. It indicates a year in which the uh, harvest was perfect. It was bountiful and of high quality. It was a bountiful, you know, and a high quality harvest. So we see a lot of people coming here. So welcome to all of you. So it's as I said earlier, uh, it's my anniversary day today, and I thought of sharing. We'll be opening this bottle to celebrate our anniversary, me and my wife. And I just thought to be live with you to talk about this wonderful champagne, uh, which we're going to open today to celebrate our anniversary. So this bottle of champagne I bought from Europe in my previous trip, and it is a high quality champagne, and I almost paid around 85 euros for this bottle, and which in India, although it is not available also, if it comes to India, then with the high import duties of 150%, is likely to be more than 20,000 rupees. So a good high quality champagne we are going to open today. And what I wanted to do today was to go through everything which is written on the label, which, as I said earlier, will reveal a lot about this champagne. So starting with what's written on the bottom of the label, it is Champagne Jean Dumangin, and that on one hand is the name of the champagne, Champagne Dean uh, Dumangin. And let's see, we've got some messages. Yeah. So yes, hello Joseph Karmanoj Jr. Hi, hi to you, and cool guy U9I. Hello to both of you. Welcome to this live session. I think presently we three are there in this session. So as I was telling you, the name of the champagne, it is uh, Champagne Jean Dumangin. So let me see how to type something over. Incidentally, this is the first time, or rather, second time I'm coming live, and let's see how to reply to a hi on this thing. Uh, so maybe I'm not able to find out, but then whatever you're saying, I'll reply to that. While I'm speaking. So let's proceed further. So champagne, Dean Jumajin. So it is the name of the champagne, and it also indicates that champagne is coming from a champagne house, which is called as uh, Jean Dumangin. And Dumangin family, it has been making grapes or growing grapes since the 16th century. So its origin goes back to almost more than 400, 450 years, and the champagne house itself was established in late 18th century, so quite a historic champagne house. And Now coming on to the year which is mentioned on the label, you can read, although this might be laterally inverted for you, so let me read it out to you. It is 2017. So normally, the year of this year represents the year in which the harvest happened. You know, harvest of the grapes which went into making this champagne. And normally, this year is not mentioned on normal champagnes or non-vintage champagnes, in which there is a lot of blending of grapes, produced over different years. But whenever a year is mentioned on the label of a champagne bottle, it means that it was a vintage champagne. It is a vintage champagne, which means that harvest that year was very good, very perfect. It was a bountiful harvest, and which produced very high quality grapes, and which go into making a vintage champagne. So vintage means that a high quality champagne with grapes grown used grapes only of that year are used, of 2017. Unlike other champagnes in which there may be as many as grapes produced over 10 years or even 12, 15 years, which are blended to make a champagne. So so this is a vintage champagne. So hi, Dibyas, Dibyas, I mix my champagne with cracked dog. So I really don't know what that means, crack dog. So normally I would suggest that not to mix champagne with anything unless it is you're making a one of the renowned champagne cocktails. Uh, you know, but then drinking wine or champagne is all about your personal taste. You can mix anything, but if you are a pure champagne lover, then maybe you should have it on its own and pair with good food and good snacks. That would I would suggest to Dibyas. And so yeah, so let's continue. So the next word, everyone, which is written on the bottle just below, the name of the champagne is uh, proprietaire Ricolta. Proprietaire Ricolta. So proprietary recall term, whenever this is written on the label of the champagne, it means that this champagne house, it owns the estate itself. It is using all the grapes which are grown on the vineyards, which is owned by this champagne house. Normally, what happens is, especially with the big champagne houses, they have some vineyards, but then they fall short of grapes, and then they buy grapes from various other grape growers also, from different villages or from the same village in Champagne area. But whenever this word proprietaire Ricolta is written, it means that it is an estate grown, champagne house. All the grapes are coming from their own estates, and they grow their own grapes, and they make their own champagne, they bottle their own champagne. And normally such champagne producers are likely to be of a smaller size, because one family cannot own thousands of acres of vineyards. Normally they must be owning, say, about maximum 30, 40 acres, and so that limited quantity of such champagnes, they come into the market. And this also means that since everything is being produced in house, under the vigilance of the family members itself, so it is the every stage of producing champagne will be very focused, and normally, the champagne will be of high quality. And these are also called as grower champagnes. Uh, so So that's about proprietor Ricolta, which is written on the bottle. And then we have Edit Zone P4U, who says, good morning to you, Edit Zone, and welcome to this live session. And for all those who are joining up now, uh, I'm talking today about a champagne which is called as Jean Dumangin. It is a champagne which is vintage champagne produced in the year 2017. And so let's see. So now we come to the next text which is written on the bottle, and that is homage. Homage, or as we say, we can also say homage. It means uh, homage to something. Uh, so here in this case, it is homage to a gentleman which is who was known as who was called as whose name was Jean Dumangin. And till now we have covered the name of the champagne, the sentence which says proprietor Ricolta, and the vintage year, and now we come to homage. So this bottle has been created to pay homage to a gentleman called Jean Dumangin. And Jean Dumangin uh, was a member of the Dumangin family from its fourth generation, and this champagne is dedicated to him. And Jean Dumangin was known to contribute a lot towards the growth of the champagne house by virtue of transferring his know-how, whatever he knew, whatever he learned about making champagnes, to champagne making. And incidentally, after the 2017 harvest, this gentleman Jean Dumangin, he died actually, unfortunately. So the champagne house thought that it would be very appropriate to dedicate this champagne to Mr. Jean Dumangin, and that's how the champagne is an homage to Jean Dumangin. So yeah. And now we come to a very interesting thing written on the bottom of the label. If you can read, somehow it will be laterally inverted. So let me read out for you. It says, Chigne le Rose, roses. Chigne le Rose, Rose. It's pronounced as rose. Chigne le Rose indicates the village, where the vineyards are located. Uh, so so that's all about the front label. And so so let's see, we'll stop here now, and maybe the back of the label I'll cover in a different live session. So so let's see, bye from my side to Cool Guy, Joseph, Tibias, and Edit Zone. And I'll catch you again in the next session. So bye and cheers.